Hey you guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. So I'm here with Zoe, and I wanted to show you guys something that I have been doing for her, and it just kind of struck me because I've heard about a lot of people having issues getting into the emergency vet, and so I just kind of wanted to do some very slight, kind of just general first aid advice for you guys, starting with some general wound care. So, what happened with Zoe is we think that she got bit by either a bug or potentially a copperhead. Copperheads are not poison, or there are poisonous, but they are not, and they're not poison, they would be venomous, but they are not deadly to dogs, not usually. I'm sure that there are exceptions, maybe small dogs, old dogs, sick dogs, things like that. Maybe dogs with, of vulnerability to their venom, but ultimately, 9 times out of 10, they'll live through it. You always want to have Benadryl on hand to give your dog Benadryl in the case that they do get exposed to something. You can give dogs Benadryl. And then what you want to do is, so for her, it swelled up and we weren't really sure what was wrong because there wasn't a very clear bite. And so I took her to the vet because her whole kind of leg was swollen. And she wasn't limping, but I was worried about her knee. I was thinking that maybe she had injured her knee or something. And she wasn't, her gait wasn't weird. She wasn't sensitive to it at all. And so the vet was just like, let's get her on some antibiotics and see how it goes. So we did a round of antibiotics and it helped a little bit, but not a whole lot. Well, eventually it festered into like an abscess and then busted. And then we saw 2 very clear kind of like holes. So it could have been the venom. It could have been like a Brahmaclus bite, which was causing the festering. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, but what I did, so originally I was just kind of doing this spray and powder. And then I kind of remembered, I was like, you know what? All the times that I've watched Dr. Pol, anytime he's got an abscess type situation where there's pus and stuff, he always flushes it out with hydrogen peroxide. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. So because it was really annoying. You could tell that it wanted to heal, but it was festering from the inside. And so I've got here some hydrogen peroxide. And what I did, I wanted to get this because I needed to make sure that it went into the wound. So I would recommend getting a spray, not normal. Now, I will say that technically I would have both. And here's why. This one is good for wound care. And while you can just take the lid off this and use it, preferably I like the other containers with the little flip top so that you can give it to them orally for foreign, like if they eat something they shouldn't eat. And so I went to the vet with Zoe when I first got here because I thought that she had eaten something that I thought maybe she had a blockage or something. And while we were there, this couple was there with some kind of Aussie doodle or something like that had eaten an entire corn cob right in front of them. And so they didn't know what to do, and they took him in there, and the vet charged them it was like $300 and something to get it removed, which was just, they gave the dog a solution to throw it up, and the dog did in fact throw up the entire corn cob, which is saying something. So save your money. Hydrogen peroxide will make dogs throw up. So you'll have to get the exact measurements. Me personally, I have very big dogs. I just dump the container, the big one, and I just squirt. And then, I don't squirt the whole thing, obviously, but they're coming up with it. So anyway, but there are dosages for everything that I'm talking about as far as recommended dosage for hydrogen peroxide, recommended dosage for Benadryl. So just, keep that in mind. So hydrogen peroxide you should always have on hand. If you have a Corso, you should always have this. And I mean, like, you should literally have it in a bag that you keep in your vehicle, so that if you're traveling or something, you can give this to your dog, because sometimes you need to get it out very, very quickly. The faster you can get it out, the better. So yeah, so you should always have this, and you should always have Benadryl. Okay, always, always, always. This is her wound. Let me see if we can kind of get in on that a little bit. There we go. So right now it's covered with the powder, but it's this whole circumference here. And so what I've done is, yesterday, while it was still festering, what I had been doing was using this. So this is fantastic. You buy it at Tractor Supply. There we go. You buy it at Tractor Supply. No phone. There we go. Come on, phone. Come on, phone. All right, hold on. This thing sucks. All right. No. It keeps trying to do, like, it doesn't want to focus on this. It's like, how about that shirt? So anyway, so this right here, I highly recommend. It is fantastic on its own. It's fantastic. Okay, if you have something that is just like a scratch or something like that, you just want to, really, Velocity. Anyway, yeah. So I was just doing this, and then I would pack it full of this. Now, you might say to yourself, why on earth are you packing it full of monkey butt? Well, because this is made out of calamine powder, and calamine powder is actually fantastic at killing bacteria and preventing the growth of bacteria. And it just really is fantastic for its drying. So if you have a weepy wound, if you have something that is a hot spot, this is fantastic, because it's going to absorb and just dry it out. So I love this for drying stuff out. I also will take this, and I'll take some activated charcoal, the little tablets you get. I'll take that and mix it together. And I've actually taken it, mixed a little bit of water, and made it into a kind of almost like a thin, like a liquidy, not a paste, but just, I don't know, just, not as thin as water, but anyway, and I will literally take it and just kind of, I'll put it into a hot spot. Like I'll kind of like press it into a hot spot. And then I'll take the powder and I'll pack the powder on top. Really important that when you do that you don't push hard enough to like do this kind of thing, because usually a hot spot is like, it's like festering underneath the skin, and so you won't even really see it at first, and if you keep messing with it, you can pull the whole thing off, and then it just creates this raw spot. And I find that it's easier to heal them if, when they still have the hair on, when they're still just starting and they just kind of look kind of nasty, you can see it's kind of like weepy underneath and kind of wet underneath. You just take you can take this stuff here, and you can just pack it in. I think the reason I used activated charcoal before was because I had a darker dog, and I kind of wanted it to just kind of fade into the dog's coat. So this is like very light, and activated charcoal is actually also good for keeping back viruses and bacteria and stuff like that. It's so, you can do it with or without. It's totally up to you, but just packing it in, just putting it on, and just gently pressing it down slowly but steadily, so that all the nasty, juicy, whatever, just gets absorbed up into that powder. And then as you see the powder get a little bit wet, then you add more, and you just gently, just steadily, just pack it in there some more until you no longer see any kind of liquidy stuff coming around it. And then you just leave it be, and you just keep doing that, and it will literally dry it out. Like whatever, in my experience, I've not had any kind of hot spot that was able to survive it, because it literally just dries it out. So these three here are absolutely fantastic. This is just great for cuts and scrapes and wounds in general. It does also have a drying effect. I've noticed that. This right here is fantastic. Whenever I use this, I'll spray this while I'll do like a thin amount of it, let it dry. Then I'll do another amount, and while it's still wet, then I put this in. That way it does absorb through. Like as you can see here, you see how that little center part there is still a little wet. That's because I had more of the purple on there. You can see it is purple. And then this is fantastic for if your dog needs to throw up, or if you want to, I was just using the word too. Irrigate, but there's another, no, it's debride. Isn't it debride? If you want to debride the wound, I think that's the word. Tell me if I'm right. Tell me if I'm wrong. I was like proud of myself for thinking that I had remembered the technical term for cleaning out a wound. But nonetheless, fantastic for that. Other than that, you obviously need to get to the vet and do the things that you need to do. But I just wanted to kind of, give you an idea of some things that you can do if you can't get into the emergency vet. So if you see your dog eat something that they shouldn't eat, fantastic. You can also give dogs anti-gas medication, the same stuff that we use, Gas X. They have a pretty high tolerance for it, so you can also get that. In fact, I think I got some of that whenever I thought that she was either bloating or had a blockage. So you can give them Gas X. Trying to think. I think that's it, to be honest with you, that I have on my mind right now. I just wanted to kind of put that out there. I'm pretty sure that Zoe is pregnant. She's got some major action going on here. She's actually looking pretty thick, and the yoni is not shrunk. So I think that we're in business for Hefe babies. So I'm really excited about that. Zoe and Hefe. And I think we have some spots left on that if you guys are interested. So I hope that you enjoyed this. This I think you can get at Walmart. And they have a male version, a man version. The only difference is that the male version has talcum powder. The female version has, what is it? It has that cornstarch. And then, regular hydrogen peroxide. This right here. You can also get this stuff called, what is it? Iodized hydrogen peroxide? I don't know. Something. No, don't quote me on that. But there's another kind of stuff that we've been using, and I can't remember what it's called, but I didn't use it on this. It can be kind of harsh for wounds, so it's like good, but then it can also be a little harsh. So I won't mention that one yet. But anyway, this right here, fantastic. If you have any questions, give me a holler. Hope you guys are having a good night. Bye.